Welcome back to Mrs. Kate's YouTube channel. As you know, in this chapter, we are focusing on transboundary pollution in Europe. Throughout this chapter, we will be looking at 3 examples of how pollution spread from one place to another: the Chernobyl radiation accident, acid rain and the Black Triangle, and the Tisza-Danube cyanide spill. In section 3, we looked at the Chernobyl radiation accident. We saw how failure to follow the safety rules led to one of the worst nuclear accidents in history. This caused an explosion and released nuclear radiation into the sky. Even though the pollution started in Ukraine, it quickly spread all over Europe and then to the rest of the world. In this video, we will be talking about section 4. This section focuses on acid rain and the Black Triangle. Your learning objectives for this lecture are as follows. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to define acid rain, explain what causes acid rain, explain the effects of acid rain, explain why acid rain is an example of transboundary pollution, and you'll be able to describe 3 ways that people are trying to solve the problem of acid rain. As you watch, please fill in your guided notes on pages 33 and 34 in your workbook. Remember, just like last time, I'm not going to give you all the answers. Throughout this lecture, you will have to pay attention and listen for the answers. Also, you will receive a homework quiz during the next class to check how well you understood this material, so please pay attention. Right now, you should have your workbook open to page 33. You will notice the first section looks like this. As you take notes, please skip this box. We will talk about this in class. So first of all, what is acid rain? Very simply, acid rain is created when you take normal water, like a raindrop, that's in the air, and add chemicals to it. This creates acid rain. This is a very simple way to understand this idea. As we talk more about acid rain, it will become more clear. For now, please write down this definition. Acid rain is rain that can damage the environment because it contains acid from factory smoke and car exhaust. In other words, it has certain chemical properties, which means that it's no longer just water. Because it's acidic, it is capable of causing damage. Acid rain can damage plants, fish, animals, and even buildings. So what does this mean? How does this process happen? What causes acid rain? Well, it all started during the Industrial Revolution. Remember, the Industrial Revolution was a time when people started building more factories and using machines to make things instead of doing it by hand. This was very helpful for people, but it caused a lot of pollution and was bad for the environment. Coal was burned in factories, which released chemicals into the air. With all of this pollution, thick clouds of dark black soot hung over many cities. Today, still, exhaust from factories and cars are the main sources of air pollution. 2 chemicals in particular were very bad for creating acid rain. These 2 chemicals are sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides. You can see them here in these gray clouds. When these gases go into the air, they react with water vapor that's already in the air. This causes them to form acids. Acids have a sour taste. You can taste acid in vinegar and lemon juice. So when you combine water and chemicals in the air, you get these acids. The water builds up as clouds in the sky. Then, when it rains, the acidic particles fall down to earth as acid rain. Air pollution is a problem in many places, but some areas create more pollution than others. Acid rain is a particular problem in Europe. One major source of air pollution and acid rain from the countries of Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic is all the factories that are located in this area. These 3 countries form a triangle where they meet. With all the many factories and power plants that are located here, most of them are burning coal as their main source of fuel. Because soot from the burning coal blackens the air, this area is often called the Black Triangle. There are several problems with acid rain. So what are some of these problems? One is that acid rain can destroy people's property. Every year, tourists travel to Europe to visit its famous stone monuments. Some of these monuments, such as ancient Greek temples and Roman bridges, are more than 2,000 years old. They've survived wars, floods, and fires, but they may not be able to survive modern pollution. Acid rain is slowly eating away at these precious monuments. You can see in this picture how the face of this statue has been eaten away. This is because of acid rain. Another problem is that acid rain can cause harm to ecosystems. When acid rain falls on lakes, it can make the water acidic. In some lakes, high levels of acid have killed fish. These fish can't survive in water that's like vinegar. You can see in this picture what's happened to them. Acid rain can also harm forests. It weakens trees by eating away at their leaves or needles. You can see what acid rain has done to this forest. Do you think that animals can continue to make this habitat their home? I don't think so. All of these problems with acid rain are made worse by the fact that acid rain doesn't stay in one place. It moves. As we've said, acid rain is caused by pollution from factories. When factories put pollution into the air, it goes high up into the atmosphere. Then it's carried by winds to other places. Sometimes it crosses a border, moving from one country to another country. By the time it rains down, the rain isn't hurting the people who caused the pollution. It's hurting people and ecosystems someplace else. Remember our example of Industrial City in Greenville? How would the citizens of Greenville feel if acid rain was destroying their crops? As you look at this image, I want you to ask yourself, why is acid rain an example of transboundary pollution? Please take a minute to answer this question in your workbooks. Please write the answer in your own words. Now, I want to give you another example. Ever since people began burning coal as fuel during the Industrial Revolution, acid rain has been a problem. Since most factories were located in cities, this meant that pollution was mainly a city problem. Cities became filled with big, black, dirty smoke. This reminds us of Industrial City, right? And just like Industrial City, coal-burning factories and power plants began building very high chimneys called smokestacks. The smoke coming out of these chimneys was carried away by the winds. This change improved the air in the cities, but it led to the spread of pollution to different places and to much wider areas. This same thing is happening today in the Black Triangle. One problem is that pollution from the Black Triangle creates acid rain, which is very harmful to nearby forests. You can see here the Sudety Mountains are on the border, which are on the border between Poland and the Czech Republic. They're just east of the Black Triangle. So that means they're downwind, or in the direction that the wind is blowing. And some of the worst pollution in Europe is coming to these mountains. If you go there, you'll see many sick trees without any leaves. Today, air pollution in the Black Triangle brings acid rain to many countries. In Sweden and Finland, most of the pollution that causes acid rain comes from other countries, especially Germany and Poland. Because acid rain is such a problem, people have tried very hard to solve it, especially in Europe. So one of the big problems with pollution is that for companies, it's cheap to pollute. They don't have to spend a lot of money. They save money actually when they pollute. So one way that governments have tried to solve this problem is to make sure that companies are given rewards or money if they reduce their pollution. Some governments propose doing this by letting companies who pollute less pay lower taxes. This way, they can save their money. Another big problem is that old technologies, such as smokestacks, cause pollution of chemicals that cause acid rain. But people quickly realized that building smokestacks and just transferring the pollution to a different place wasn't a good solution. So to solve this problem, governments have encouraged companies to use new technologies. Companies have started using things like smokestack scrubbers. The scrubbers are sponges that are put inside the smokestacks. They clean the air before it goes out into the atmosphere, taking out a lot of the harmful chemicals. As a result, far less pollution goes into the air. This has been a great way to help solve the problems of air pollution in general, and acid rain in particular. A third problem is that coal is a really common source of fuel for power plants and factories. So to solve this problem, people have tried to find ways for factories to stop using coal in their factories altogether. When possible, companies try to use cleaner forms of energy, like wind and solar energy. So now you know all there is to know about acid rain. Thank you for watching Mrs. Kate's YouTube channel, and as always, thank you for doing your homework. Please bring your questions with you to class when we meet after you've done this video. Thank you.